Welcome to Boardroom Broadcasts, speaking with listed companies from around the world. You can stay up to date with all our content by visiting www.boardroombroadcasts.com and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Dr. André Boulet, President and CEO of TSX-V listed company Devonian Health Group. Dr. Boulet has a vast experience in drug development, regulatory affairs, market access, financing, and restructuration in the pharmaceutical and biotech fields. A seasoned entrepreneur, he stands out by combining his strengths in applied science, business, and finance. Since 2005, he has been leading the development of the technology and products owned by Devonian Health Group, and as part of this has raised more than $40 million in private-public equity. André, thanks for being with us today.
That's a pleasure.
Before we get into Devonian Health Group, could you tell us a little bit about your corporate background and experience?
Yes, as you mentioned, I'm a PhD doctor in physiology with a postdoctoral training in biophysics and biochemistry at University of Pennsylvania. I worked in the pharma world for quite a few years. I managed the clinical trial development of different drugs within Marion Merrill Dow. I went then back to school at York in England as a trainee in economics for the pharmacoeconomics department. I then led the reimbursement program for Hux Marion Roussel on different products. And then after all this background of drug development and pharmacoeconomics, I became a partner in a venture capital fund in Montreal called BioCapital 3. I was involved in about 20 investments there. We were an early stage venture capital fund. After 5 years, the fund was liquid, so we sold the remaining companies. So we provided our limited partnership close to 20% net IRR. And then I found that technology, which is now in the Devonian Health Group. And I finance it with myself, my family, my own network, angel network, with we are now over $50 million, not 40, but $50 million invested in the company.
Okay. And for our listeners, can you tell us, what is Devonian Health Group?
Devonian Health Group started as a botanical drug company with at the beginning only one product, which was the anti-inflammatory drug we have in development right now, and we had a vision to have also a cosmeceutical unit because when you play with plants, like in the botanical drug field, often you find byproducts that have other application. And so we found indeed our spinazome, which is a patented antioxidant molecule that is currently part of our Pure Genesis brand anti-aging cream. This is how the company was started.
Okay. And what led you into botanical drug development?
Within that technology, as you mentioned, I've been involved with it in 2004, 2005. At that time, the U.S. FDA issued the botanical drug regulation, which allow a company to develop, I would say, natural complexes into prescription medicine, which did not exist before. So when I saw the new regulation and the technology that we were able to catch on in Devonian, the application was obvious to develop prescription medicine with this technology.
Okay. And what are the benefits or the difference of botanical drug development?
Yeah, the botanical drug development is an interesting field when you come from the pharma world because it allows you to move much faster and less costly than regular drugs, what we call the new chemical entities, NCEs. I'll give you an example. We were able to, with our Ticamin, which is our lead product, we were able to do phase 1, preclinical and phase 1 in 1 year and a half. So if you compare that to a new chemical entity, a usual product, it takes 3 to 5 years to do such work. So I'll let you think how much we can save money and time by that. And then you do the phase 2. And so it allows really you to move much faster and less costly to reach the proof of concept because, as you know, phase 2, this is the key component of drug development where you realize if the drug works or not. And then after phase 3, the regular rules for an NC apply to a botanical drug. But at the end, it saves a lot of time and money to reach that proof of concept.
And some of the origins of this are based on research from the University of Quebec. Is that correct?
Yeah, the University of Quebec at Trois-Rivières, yeah. Absolutely. This was discovered there by chance, as many discovery. They were working for agricultural application, and a student found that one part of the molecule was an anti-inflammatory drug. So this comes from a university, yeah, absolutely.
And I had read as well that the extraction facility that was started in Quebec is possibly the only one in Canada. Is that intrinsic of any sort of key development for your company?
Yes, absolutely. This is very important because when we put our hands on this technology, we try to bring the technology in usual pharmaceutical facility. And obviously, a plant, what it is a contamination, a possible contamination for a facility. So we don't have any single entity in Quebec that accepted to house our technology. So we had to design our own building where you can bring a plant at the entrance, and in the heart of the building, the whole thing is almost sterile. So as we know, so far, we are probably the only facility like this in Canada which allows to develop a real prescription medicine with a plant. And to our knowledge, there is another one in North Carolina, in the U.S., as we know today, but we expect there will be quite a few one more in the coming years because we are now about 20 companies worldwide with developing from plants.
And so with the products that are being developed, where would we see them in practical use?
Yeah, okay. We have right now our Ticamin is an anti-inflammatory drug that is development for ulcerative colitis. We have completed phase 2 proof of concept in ulcerative colitis. Now we are moving to a large phase 2/3 ulcerative program with the gastroenterologist in Canada and the US. So this is the first product. We have an ongoing phase 2 clinical trial in eczema. In adult population, it should be completed in the coming months, and we're going to move then in pediatric population because eczema, the biggest market is in eczema, and the needs are there because, as you probably know, physicians don't want to prescribe corticosteroid to kids. So obviously, we're not a corticosteroid. So this is the first part. We have a program in radiodermatitis. Radiodermatitis is, I don't know if you know what it is, but almost 50% of the cancer patients, they go through radiotherapy and the beam burns surrounding tissues. So we have a very good program there where so far we have some preliminary data demonstrating that we protect the surrounding tissues. So obviously it would be a medical device application. So this is ongoing as well. And we have also an acne program in phase 2, entering phase 2, to treat inflammatory acne. And as you know, the teenagers suffer a lot of the acne, so we have a program there too. So the whole program is moving quite nicely right now.
Okay. So there's quite a few products that are in development. You had mentioned that that pathway to commercialization is shorter at 3 to 5 years. How far away are you from bringing some of these things to market?
We are probably for the eczema program, I would say we're going to be entering, we have to do 2 phase 2 because pediatric population is different than adult. We would think that within the 2 to 3 years, we should be able to file for the approval in the US and Canada. As you know, worldwide, the timelines are different depending on the countries. And the ulcerative colitis should be filed probably within the next 4 years. Also, so at the end it would have taken about 6 years to develop the both indications, and with overall cost maximum of, I would say, 90 to 100 million compared to a new chemical entity, which is now, as reported by the pharma industry, close to $1 billion. So you see the difference of botanical drug and NCE.
And is there a particular reason why you're focusing your efforts on the North American market?
No, we're not focusing on North American market, but the FDA, once it's approved by the FDA, a lot of countries approve a drug that has been approved by the FDA. And so this is why we focus really on North America, but we will file all the reports to all countries around the world, either probably not alone, but with a partnership with a big pharma, because big pharma are really interested by this program. Sanofi has a big program in botanical drugs. They have a malaria drug that is a botanical drug as well on the market. So there are quite a few botanical drugs already on the market worldwide. So the big pharma are coming there.
Okay. Earlier this year, you acquired Altius Healthcare. Can you talk a little bit about who they are and how that supports the goals of Devonian Health Group?
Yeah. Let's say Devonian, prior to the acquisition of Altius, was structured as a development company. Obviously, we develop products. We bring it to a partner for marketing. So Altius earlier, before last year, we signed with Altius distribution agreement for our cosmeceutical treatment, anti-aging treatment, and so they have the license to market in Canada through dermatologists only. This product, which is I'll come back to the cosmeceutical arm that we have with a lot of products as well. And so they had this license. They started to market through physician dermatologists, and they reviewed what we had in our pipeline. And as I mentioned, they are sales and marketing. And so we sat together and they said there was a fit for the Canadian market, at least maybe to keep for Devonian the sales in Canada, because globally the sales in Canada represent only 3% of the market. So big pharma, if we give them the rest of the world, they won't take care of Canada at all because it's only 3%. So it was beneficial for Devonian to acquire Altius because it was giving us the sales and marketing acumen. So when we develop a drug, it's always good to have the feedback from the sales and marketing people to be sure that we collect the data our sales and marketing department will need, and also if we are targeting the right therapeutic indication from a marketing point of view. So that brought the acumen, and also this is bringing us also sales and EBITDA from their part, from the unit. Because they had 10 million sales, which will give approximately, I would say, between 1.5 to 2 million EBITDA. So we bring the revenues in the holding, so we're able to apply the R&D tax credit on it. So it's pretty good to decrease the need for new money, So it's really complementary to what we do and bring us, as I mentioned, sales and marketing acumen in the company.
When you're pre-commercialization like this, how are you marketing it? What is the messaging and to who?
Depending. Okay, let's talk about the cosmeceutical unit that we have. The anti-aging treatment is patented, and everything we do at the pharmaceutical standard, which I mean it's double-blind clinical study. So the cosmeceutical products that we have right now, the first one, which is the Pure Genesis brand anti-aging, has been compared in a double-blind clinical trial compared to prestige brand product. And we've been told that we are the first company in that world that is mentioning that there is placebo effect and the massage effect around the eyes that decrease the wrinkle. So we beat both of these things in the double-blind study. So this is what the physician likes. So this is why we're marketing right now these products through dermatologists only, Canadian dermatologists. The products have been accredited by the Canadian Dermatology Association as well. We've been told that we are the only products being sold by the dermatologist in Canada that's been accredited by the Canadian Dermatology Association itself. So we have the logo. So this is why Altius is very good for us because they market through physicians and they have a network with dermatologists. So the goal here is we deal only with physicians in everything we do at Devonian. And the dermatologists, they know that we have a pipeline. We are coming with a full program of photoprotection to protect against blue light, to protect against infrared A and blue light and UVA, UVB. And we work with them. So this gives credibility to the company.
Okay. So where do you see the ongoing growth in the future of Devonian Health Group?
Yeah. Right now, obviously, Altius continue to in-license the distribution of new chemical entities and other products for the Canadian market. We bring them our pipeline, so there will be growth in the revenues there. The botanical drug field, the drugs for human, as I mentioned earlier, the pipeline is quite growing significantly. We have new programs, and we expect definitively that we'll have new drugs there. We have the cosmeceutical unit also, the byproducts. We have a stretch mark program there. We have, as I mentioned, photoprotection also. So this is going to be generate sales next year. We have quite a few, I would say, formulation that will reach the market early next year or by mid next year. So we're going to have increased sales. And we expect to move also to have another arm, which is the animal health, companion animals. It's now mentioned that the veterinary is now these days the second physician for the family because they take care of the companion animal. We are coming with products there. Obviously, our Tycamine, which is an anti-eczema, has application on the vet side because the largest market in veterinary is the one with eczema for dogs and cats. Amazing.
Right.
So we are coming there, and we are in discussion right now with a company in the U.S. To bring us another type of product on the vet side. So as the full name of the corporation is Devonian Health Group, so we really want to be a health group with bringing new product and innovative products in human, veterinary, and human. We're talking about prescription drugs and cosmeceutical. All this validated through pharmaceutical development pathway,
and
or at least, yeah.
Oh, sorry, and I was going to ask, do you intend to stay on the venture exchange?
No, we intend to move on the big TSX and ultimately on NASDAQ.
Okay.
For obvious reason, there's big volume on NASDAQ. This is where a company like ours will reach its right value.
Of course. André, that's really all the questions that I've got for you today. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to add or possibly mention that we haven't addressed yet?
I would say that no, it's we cover pretty much our company. Again, I think thinking about the company is really, as I mentioned, a health group with arm in human, cosmeceutical, and ultimately we're going to have the veterinary unit as well. And we have revenues, which is important now these days, and the revenues will grow over in the coming months.
Excellent. Well, André, thanks very much for your time today.
Perfect. It has been a pleasure.
This has been a production of BoardroomBroadcasts.com, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with all our content by visiting www.boardroombroadcasts.com and clicking on subscribe.